guys, it's Sarah. Thank you so much for watching. So today I have round 4, I think it's round 4 of my Eyeshadow Roulette series. So what I've been doing is I have a whole list, every color from all of my eyeshadow palettes and all of my singles are listed on there. And I've been using random.org to select 5 totally random eyeshadows from across my whole collection, so it's been a ton of fun. This is a series that was inspired by the Pan Those Eyeshadows Project Pan that was started by Alexi here on YouTube. I will link her down below along with a few other YouTubers who are participating in that Project Pan. For me, it's not really a Project Pan, it's more so just a way for me to kind of experiment with a totally random selection of shades from my collection, and if I do end up hitting pan on some of them, that's great. But I've just been selecting 5 new shades at the end of each month so that I can start fresh every month. And it's been really fun and a really great way for me to make sure that I'm really getting to know each shadow in my collection. I think I have right around 150 eyeshadow shades in my collection, so it's been really fun to just kind of hone in on 5 shades and figure out different ways to use them, and also to pair together shades that I probably never would have thought to pair together had it not been for this kind of randomized challenge, I guess. So in this video, we're going to kind of recap the 5 shadows from last month, and then we will go ahead and select the 5 new ones for this next month. So I'm really excited. This has been so much fun, and I always look forward to selecting new shadows just because, I don't know, I just never know what I'm going to get, and it could be like a totally random mix of colors, or a lot of times it ends up being colors that actually go really well together. And so anyway, let's go ahead and talk about last month's 5 shadows and talk about kind of how I wore them, progress that I made on them. I do take progress pictures, so you'll see what they looked like a month ago and how they look now. So, some of them there is a little bit more of a dip happening. One of the shadows I had already hit pan on a while ago, and so you'll see a little bit of progress there, and it's always just fun to kind of see how makeup progresses, even if I'm not technically trying to pan. I also have some hot tea. I know it's the middle of the summer. It's actually been kind of chilly here, so I don't know, I'm kind of in a cozy like fall mood. I bought some sweaters earlier today at Value Village. They had a lot of really cute sweaters, even though it's like, I guess summer is probably a good time to buy winter clothes at thrift stores because like no one's really looking at those clothes, so they're not picked over. Anyway, why am I telling you this? I'm just in a cozy like fall mood right now. I don't know why. So here are the 5 shades from this past month that I was working with. We had this royal blue shade, which is the shade Mile from the Billie Beauty Eyes of India palette. Then we had Bashful from ColourPop, Primavera from the Modern Renaissance palette, Blazing Hot from the Milani Bold Obsessions palette. Love that color, so pretty. And then the shade Wise from the e.l.f. Opposites Attract palette. So really, this might have been one of my favorite groups of colors that we've had so far. I'm just loving the rich, like royal blue, the deep green, the copper. It all just pairs so nicely together. I will say this blue doesn't swatch very well because it's a shadow that's meant to be used with a wet brush, so it's a lot more vibrant on the eyes. I would say that my favorite shades, I loved all of these shades. My favorite shades to work with this month were definitely the blue, the copper, and the deep green. I just love how rich all 3 of those are. And then it was nice to have the gold to kind of ground the group of shadows together. My least favorite shade was probably the shade Bashful from ColourPop. I wore it a few times as a lid shade. I don't even think I took any pictures of it worn that way, but I wore it a few times just as a lid shade and then kind of like a light brown in the crease. Really simple. I didn't love the way it looked just on my skin tone. I felt like it made me look a little bit kind of washed out and sickly. Not the most flattering for me as a lid shade, but what I did really like it for was kind of as a lower lash line color, especially like the inner half of the lower lash line. Sometimes I like to put a light shimmery color there, and it actually looked really pretty that way, especially next to the dark green. Those two looked really pretty together on the lower lash line, so I did that a few times. But as a lid shade, I discovered I don't love that color on my lid necessarily. So that was probably my least favorite from the group. And then, I still like that shadow. It's a really nice color. It's just maybe not the most flattering on my skin tone, but so if you watched my recent Get Ready With Me where I did a look using all 5 of these shades together, I was really happy with the way that look turned out. It was a really kind of odd look that I never probably would have done a look like that. It ended up looking really pretty and I liked the effect, but it was very different from anything I'd ever done on my eyes. I wore the green a lot, kind of winged out on the upper lash line, and I really liked that shadow for that. I hadn't used it for that very much before, but having it in this grouping, I ended up using it for that a lot, and it turns out I really like that color for that purpose. It goes on really pretty opaque. I mean, not completely opaque. It's not like you're using like a liquid liner. This whole palette really impresses me, but I think they did such a good job with that shade, making it, you know, opaque enough that it can work really well as a winged liner. So really enjoyed using that as a winged liner. I also used the blue as a winged liner a few times, and it didn't turn out quite as like intense as I wanted it to. That is a shadow that's meant to be used with a wet brush, and I did wet like the angled brush that I was using, but I felt like it just didn't really go on as opaque as I wanted it to. It kind of looked more like almost like a watercolor, which was pretty, just not exactly what I was going for. So I used that a few times. A lot of times I ended up layering the gold over the copper color, because the copper on its own, while I love that shadow, it's so buttery and metallic. It can be a little intense just as a lid shade on its own because it's so red. I don't always like to wear really like bright reddish copper colors or bronzy colors as like the statement color on my eyelid, because it can tend to make me look a little bit like my eyes are kind of red and sick. So I really liked kind of toning that down with the gold. I did one look that really featured the blue on the lid, and then I just had a bunch of like browns in the crease and the outer corner. I think that was the only shadow I used from the group in that look, but I loved that look so much. And really having that shadow in this grouping allowed me to really just play with my Billie Beauty palette even more. And because this is a pretty new palette to me, and I hadn't really gotten to play with it much until this month, so I had so much fun with it, not just with the blue, but with the whole palette. This was also the first month that a shade from the Opposites Attract palette was included, so I really enjoyed getting to play with that some more. I actually did a look where I paired the shade Sassy from here, which is like a light peach, with Primavera from Modern Renaissance, and then I think I had Wise, again from the e.l.f. palette, the dark green, as a winged liner, and that was just such a simple look. It still looked pretty neutral, but I liked that I kind of got to sneak a little bit of color in with the peach and the green. It ended up just being really pretty, kind of unexpected, but I really liked getting to use that palette some more this month. Yeah, I feel like that's probably about all I had to say about this month's shadows, but really enjoyed that group of colors. I didn't hit pan on any new shadows, but I did of course expand the pan a little bit on Primavera, which I had already hit pan on before, and that's the only shadow in this palette that I've hit pan on. I'd really like to start seeing more pan in here. It really doesn't look like I've had this palette for, when did I buy this? I guess it was 2017. So I've had it for less than 2 years, I guess. So, but I would like to start seeing some more progress on it. I keep seeing pictures of people who are trying to pan this palette this year on Instagram, and people are like making serious progress, and I'm kind of jealous. I'm like, dang, I need to step it up. But yeah, no new pans this month. Last month I hit pan on one shadow. I actually did hit pan on a different shadow in my collection, but none of these this month. So yeah, but I love this group of colors. I am kind of sad to part with it. I mean, obviously I can still use them, but that was a really fun one. I had a lot of fun with those. And I'll link the Get Ready With Me where I used all 5 of them, if you want to see that, if you missed it. Typically, you know, throughout the month I'll use like 2 or 3 of the shades at a time. I don't usually use all 5 at once, but I always like to try to create at least one look using all 5, just kind of as a fun experiment. So anyway, I am so ready. Let's go ahead and choose our new grouping of colors for July. So we're still in the summer. It's always fun to see like if the colors that we get kind of match the season. I felt like that was a nice kind of summery group of colors that we had. It was kind of more fall, I guess, with the copper and the greens. But I don't know. I don't really follow the rules anyway when it comes to like seasonal colors, but the month before that we had very spring appropriate shades. Oh my gosh, that tea is so good. I've been so into hot tea lately. Okay, so I'm pulling up random.org, and let's see, updates to my list of shadows. So last month I did a declutter video where I actually did declutter one of my eyeshadow palettes. It was the CoverGirl True Naked Roses palette. Nice palette, but I just wasn't in love with it, so I wanted to get rid of it. So that eliminated 8 shadows from my list. And then I did purchase a new palette this month, the Profusion Spectrum palette. This is my first rainbow palette, probably my first and only, because how many rainbow palettes does a person need? But oh, so many fun colors here. So I have added all of those to the list. And then any shadows that we've already had in the previous 3 months, I took off the list so that we don't get any repeats, because I want all fresh new shades to work with. So in total, I'm choosing from, let's see, 138 shadows that we're choosing from. 1 month I put in the wrong number, so I'm making sure I'm doing it right this time. So I'm putting 1 through 138 in my random.org, and let's do it together. It's more fun when you can see it, I guess. I don't know. Did I press it? What did we get? I can't see. Okay, we got 20. That is from, oh, again from Modern Renaissance. And this is good because I want to focus on this palette. This is the shade Love Letter. Ooh, yes. That is one of the prettiest colors in this palette. It's that rich kind of fuchsia. I feel like I haven't used that shade in ages. Alrighty, so I'm gonna put a little X next to that one so we know we got it. And let's pick another. So, alright, I got 3 this time. That is from my Nude Dude palette from the Balm, and that's the shade Flawless. This is a palette that was actually, I put it in my project pan for, I think just like 2 months it was in my project pan. And so I was focusing on this quite a bit, and I, don't mind focusing on it some more. So the shade Flawless is this like mid-toned matte brown. It'll be nice to have that because sometimes I get a group that doesn't have a matte transition color, which is fine because I can always pull in other shadows. I'm not just restricted to these, but it's nice to have one. So far, 2 mattes. Last month we had almost all shimmers. All right, let's pick a third one. 126. So that is the shade, ooh, oh, this is good. This is a liquid glitter shadow from Stila. This is the Stila Glitter and Glow in Gold Goddess. So I have been neglecting these so badly lately. Because it's like a liquid shadow, I just forget to use it. Yeah, I'm really glad that got chosen because that's the first time that I've had a liquid or like glitter shadow in my eyeshadow roulette, so that'll be fun. All right, picking another one. So I got 17. Another one from Modern Renaissance. Ooh, okay, this is one of my favorite shades from the palette. Wow, Modern Renaissance is getting a lot of attention. This is the shade Red Ochre. Oh, yes. That, I think, is my favorite shade in this whole palette. So pretty. Ooh, I'm liking this. Very kind of a fall vibe. Oh my goodness. That's like a burnt red, I guess. Rusty matte red. Okay, I'm really excited actually about this group of colors. Watch us get like a random bright yellow or something. All right, so this is the 5th and final one. So we got 59. Another one from Milani. Oh wow, that's interesting. So this is the shade Red Between the Lines, and it's another another red shadow. It's actually really similar to the Modern Renaissance one, except that it's a little bit less pigmented, I guess, a little bit more rusty. And it's not 100% matte. So here are the 5 shades all together. We have the shade Love Letter from Modern Renaissance, Flawless from the Balm Nude Dude palette, Gold Goddess from Stila, Red Ochre from Modern Renaissance, and Red Between the Lines from the Milani Bold Obsessions palette. So you can see those 2 shadows are super similar to one another. Really got some Modern Renaissance vibes here, which is exciting. So I think I'll be using a lot of the Modern Renaissance palette this month, even outside of these shades. I mean, only 2 of them are in there, but honestly, it looks like all of these could have been from Modern Renaissance. That's fun. I feel like these tie together really well, and so I'm excited to maybe I'll hit pan on some more shades from Modern Renaissance. We'll see. The only shade I think I'm close to hitting pan on is Vermeer, which is the light pink, the pale pink, and maybe Tempera, maybe Golden Ochre too. We had Golden Ochre, I think, in the first month of my eyeshadow roulette. But yeah, fun. So I'm kind of glad that only 3 palettes are represented here, because in the past few months we had shades from like 5 different palettes, so my makeup basket was just like filled with palettes. So this month is a little more manageable. We've got those 3 palettes and then the glitter, which I'm really excited to use some more. This poor glitter has not gotten enough love. So yeah, so that's my eyeshadow roulette for, I guess for July is when I'll really start delving into these. You'll probably see me wearing these quite a bit this month, and I'm excited to rock some like modern Renaissance vibes. It's just such a classic palette and I love that color story. I still love it even though it's not as unique, I guess, now as it used to be, but if you want to catch up on my previous eyeshadow roulette videos, I will link them all down below. Also be sure to check out the other ladies who are doing the Pan Those Eyeshadows project if you want to see more panning specific content, but yeah, I've just been having so much fun. I'm so excited, yay! Now I'm really in the mood for fall with these colors. I think that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!